I'm joined by Eric Magvas. Um, he is the founder of the Youth for Trump here at the Cleveland State campus and the manager of the Turning Point USA chapter here for CSU. And he's just going to talk to us a little bit today about how he got in politics and how the organization here on campus is growing. Eric, welcome.
Thank you, Joey. Thanks for having me. So I'm a junior here at Cleveland State, and I got started in politics my sophomore year. Well, technically, yes, my sophomore year, during the primaries of the Republican primaries in 2016. I got involved with the Trump campaign, and I started the Youth for Trump chapter here at Cleveland State. Started getting people involved to help with phone calls, and as that progressed, Trump did really well throughout the primaries. We made calls to thousands and thousands of calls to many states, and then came the
You were at the RNC too.
yes,
So you spent a
that is
lot
right,
of time during the summer, and things were really getting heated with Trump as he got the nomination. You were there. What was that like being at the RNC and being downtown at that time, and knowing that you're in charge of so many Republican youth organizations on campus?
Well, Joey, it was really fascinating to see that come to Cleveland. I mean, our town was totally transformed with the media stations all down East 4th Street and all the fencing for the security around the Quicken Loans Arena. I mean, it was one of the biggest media events in the world. I think second to the Olympics that year, and I was fortunate enough to help out and volunteer inside the RNC and check credentials and other things. So I got to see like an inside perspective on how things work, and I mean, see the Trump family go by and being taken to their suite and all of his surrogates and everything. It was pretty awesome. I really got to see how things worked at the top level there, while also, I mean, being really fundamentally like involved with the grassroots organizations here on campus, because that's what really drove the campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump's campaign was really grassroots. It was nothing. Republicans haven't done anything like that before.
Yeah.
And it was great to have that perspective. And I enjoyed it at RNC all 4 days there. Everyone was really friendly, and I think it was a good way to put Cleveland on the map, especially after 3 weeks after the Cavs won the the 2016 NBA championship. Then a month later or so, the general election campaign got into swing, and I was chairman of the Cuyahoga County Youth for Trump. So I had the
You managed a few people, and you helped with phone
oh yeah
calls
a good
and
good
door
group.
to door.
Yeah, over 50 people in the group, and we would make calls every Tuesday and Thursday nights, phone banking at the RPCC, the Republican Party of Cuyahoga County headquarters, and they were very nice and let us use their office space, and we made calls both those nights and had pizza. Very good group, very friendly. And on Saturdays we went out and knocked doors. We went all over like Cleveland and Lakewood and all over, and we knocked about 3,000 doors on average each weekend. So that's a lot of people, and you really get to hear the good and the bad of everything. You meet a lot of interesting people, and they tell you their feelings, and you persuade people, and you really get a feel of what it's like out there. And we really enjoyed that. I mean, it was long days, but the group though was what
The
drove
group was
it.
also a lot of the people that were in the group were on campus in your group.
Yes.
So, having a Republican youth group on campus,
Mhm.
a lot of universities tend to lean a little bit more liberal.
Yes.
So, with that being said, and being a young group, and you managing that, did you feel it was good to have different opposing views on campus and having to offer to many students?
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely. It was a learning experience, and it was amazing. I mean, I think it's good to have a free expression of opposing ideas. I mean, it's not good to stand there and call people names and and complain, but actually go up to someone and have a dialogue with them, find out where they're coming from and where you're coming from, because it's all from the perspective of the person, like depending on who's right. I mean, we could have debates about that, but everyone comes from different upbringings and we all have different worldviews.
Yeah.
So you just got to be understanding. A lot of
Yeah.
people weren't like that towards our group when we were tabling. It was pretty hostile, but but it brought us together though, because I mean, a lot of people were treated terribly by other students here. I mean, they're being criticized and had their posters torn down and stuff.
And in a way, those
Yeah.
opposing viewpoints and all that diverse conversation seems to bring the students together, and the university in a way.
Well, it
You're not
It
just
should.
in one bias environment. You've got the Democratic viewpoints, Republican viewpoints, conservative, liberal viewpoints, and so that seems to be really good. How has the Youth for Trump grown? Have you seen it grow the way you'd like? And then, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it grew very strongly throughout the general election.
Yeah.
That was the main purpose of it, was to volunteer for the campaign and help out in any way we could, even on our own. When Bill Clinton was here, which was a very, very small event, not many people showed up, but we had people outside protesting. I mean, with funny signs. I mean, nothing terrible, but we still had people yell at us, and it grew really well. And on election day, we made phone calls that day to flush the polls, and made about 4,000 phone calls that day on election day. It was awesome.
Wow.
Very long day. Most of us took off class, anything we could, and we made those into the night, but when they were already calling out states and everything.
Yeah.
And we're watching the results roll in. It was pretty expected for the most part. I mean, very close in Florida and other places, but Ohio, we won it by like 18 points or something, huge number or something, 8 points, and then we took a Uber ride to the after party, even though the election results were still coming in, and in the car we were listening to the radio, and all our Uber drivers are always Trump people, and the results came in. We were excited when Wisconsin was announced. I mean, we knew that was not expected. The polls were not going Trump's way there, but Trump was the only one that really visited the state. I think in the last 60 days of the campaign, and the group grew. I mean, we maintained strong. Also, during that time, I was fortunate enough to be a part of the beginning of the Turning Point chapter here, helped found that, and get it established as an official student at work. So I've been pretty involved here on campus. Cleveland State's been great to me.
So just more recently, Charlie Kirk, who is the director of the National Turning Point organization, was on the Cleveland State campus, and it came at a pretty hectic time for the university. We saw a few posters. I don't know if you've seen them.
Oh yes, those
and
not refuse fascism. Those are the protesters, but
very controversial posters.
Yes,
and
fascist solutions posters, or whatever the heck that is.
They were posted all across the university, and President Berkman spoke out and said it was free speech, and then did come back to say that obviously it's not right and it's not good, and I think
it isn't.
agree with that.
I totally denounce that.
We all denounce any sort of violent action or discriminatory behavior like that. How do you feel as a university we can come closer together? How does an event like this can we bring closer together through an event like this?
Well, we should be able to realize that, and not point fingers at people or groups that accusing them of putting up posters and whatnot, because for all we know, I mean, this was just someone like putting up posters to cause mayhem and controversy. I mean, the posters were atrocious, and I would argue that they were hate speech. I mean, they were insightful, and I mean, it bothered me seeing that, but I mean, it's not. But we got to have a discussion, take those down, and move on. I mean, it's when people fester over it and they have it linger and they get angry, then that doesn't really bring us together.
A lot of the students, some of them were putting the blame on Berkman that stuff should have been done, or maybe a harsher stance should have been taken towards the initial reaction. where's the middle ground? How do you feel about how President Berkman handled it?
Um, well, as I said, I mean, I think they are hate speech.
Yeah.
He came out originally and said it's free speech, then kind of retracted that. He had a dialogue with the students. I didn't really hear many people walk away feeling any better after that. But I think as a school, we did have some dialogue about it. So I know a lot of people that came together over it, but there's still plenty of people that wanted to use that as a reason to get angry and express their anger against everybody. And I think it would be better if we just come together, everyone denounce it, move on, and not let things linger. I mean, people are still upset over the election, and they're upset over so many little things that really are not problems that affect everybody, like in the world. I mean, there's these are words. I mean, they aren't actions. We don't even know who put up these posters. We don't even know that this group or this person, whoever exists. We should just come together, denounce it, and move.
Do you feel like society as a whole is becoming oversensitized in the aspect that we're condemning people without knowing all the facts? We're saying that people are racist without really
well, name calling
seeing.
is something you shouldn't never do. You don't
Yeah.
do that. I mean, if you have facts and stuff, you can use those and go after someone. But name calling and labeling, that's not right.
Yeah.
Pits us against each other. We're Americans. We're all Americans first. I mean, but people want to divide us.
Well, it's been great talking to you today, Eric.
Thank you.
Yeah,
my pleasure. Absolutely.
Great to hear from you. Wish you the best of luck with the group. And
thank you. I'd love to be back again sometime.
hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Joey.
Yeah.